welcome to my channel for the love of glitter. I am Anna Crossland. Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. Today it is my first time testing out BPerfect Cosmetics. I'm so excited because when I saw this palette for the first time, when they first started sneak peeking it, I was obsessed. I guess I should introduce the name of the palette. It is called the Love Tahiti palette, and it is in collaboration with Stacey Marie, who is apparently a makeup artist. I do follow her on Instagram. I know she does some beautiful looks. And BPerfect Cosmetics is a brand that is completely new to me, and I couldn't be more excited to test out a new brand. So they had a way you could sign up for a special link, so they had like a pre-access type of thing, and that's how I got my palette. They did have some troubles with the site, but they did end up getting it fixed, I guess. It took, I think, a couple of hours for me to get it. This palette retails for $49 and something cents. It is more on the expensive side. Look at this packaging. I'm obsessed with this packaging, but the inside gets even better. There are, I believe, 40 shades in this palette, and you do get a mirror, so you're getting quite the variety. This is a very rainbow-esque type of palette, but I feel like it's a little bit different. And I feel like it's basically all the stuff that I really love from rainbow palettes, and it's like if I ever did a collab that was a rainbow palette, these were the colors that I would choose. Especially, I'm loving all these very purpley shades. I'm loving that there's like an orange peachy row, and there's also a neutral row, so if you want to just do neutrals with a pop of color, it's perfect. And then you have your greens. I also feel like this color story is perfect for any time of the year. Any time of the year, because you get your grungy colors, you have grungy greens, you have mustards. For the times of spring, you have your brighter like lavender colors and very minty type shades, so I feel like you could really use this all year round. Now, if you're someone who's into neutrals, I would say don't exit out quite yet, just because you're really concerned about all these colors, because this to me is a great transition into colors. Because while there are some crazy colors in here, you do have your neutral row, and it's very easy to pair a pop of color on the inner corner, or you could use some pop of color under the eye, or you could do a complete just purple eye look. You could also do a little neutral but add a little bit of yellow tones in there, and you could even do kind of a more wearable green eye look. So even though there's some really loud colors in here, I honestly feel like it's a great transition into trying crazy colors, because you do have this neutral row to kind of start every eye look off if you really wanted to. I have not swatched this palette yet. Normally it's the first thing I do, and I didn't want to go in with the mindset of swatching it and being disappointed. So apparently it doesn't swatch that great. This is a really big palette. If you've never tried BPerfect Cosmetics, here's a comparison between Jawbreaker. So if you think Jawbreaker is a pretty big palette, you're in for a surprise, because this is even bigger. And here is like an Orvina palette. This thing's pretty big. Something that's cool about it is it does have all the shades on the back as well. Some of them are starred. What does the stars mean? Okay, it says Sundown Bloom for face and body. I'm not quite sure how BPerfect does this, but I'm wondering if the ones with the stars mean that they stain, because on here it says that they're meant for face and body, the one with the stars. And normally when they have like a caution type of thing like that, saying that it's not meant for the eyes, usually it's because some people can have like small reactions or big reactions. I'm not sure. I don't have reactions to these types of shades, so that is something that's really cool that they include that on the back. Here's the look that I created today. Now, before you're like, why didn't you do two different looks like I normally do? Normally I do one on this eye and one on this eye, completely different, to really test out the formulas. But I really want to do a 3 looks 1 palette with this palette, and I find that when I review it with like 2 different looks, it can become a little bit hard trying to think of new ideas. Starting off with the e.l.f. Eye Putty Primer. This is in the shade Rose. Looking at this palette, I feel so inspired. I just want to jump into all of the shades. I will be doing a 3 looks 1 palette. I'm going to start with yellow, and it is this yellow shade right here. I have not swatched them yet, which is not how I normally do things. Amy Loves Makeup, who is a very well-known indie makeup YouTuber, she did a review on this and she swatched them, and honestly the swatches didn't look that great, and she said if she had swatched it first she would have been kind of going in with a little bit, feeling a little disappointed. I definitely don't want that to happen, so I'm gonna wait to swatch them. But so far that shade is building up very nicely. It's a little bit powdery, but not over the top powdery, which is great. This color will be so good for y'all. Take some under the lower lash line. We're gonna go into Sundown, which is this just a very orange color right here. And I'm taking a more dense brush this time. Okay, so the thing I like is this is very pigmented, but it's not like a lot of the formulas nowadays that are hard to put on top of each other. I'm not noticing that weird patchiness that happens with like pressed pigments that you can experience with a lot of the newer types of formulas, so I'm kind of real thankful for that. Okay, going under the eye. Now we're going to go into Bloom, which is this nice raspberry color right here. We're going to transition to this pink because it's kind of actually like a magenta raspberry. We'll see how well this builds. So far I'm actually really impressed with how the formula is building. I feel like this is a very user-friendly formula. This is just to kind of help this blend into a purple. I have no idea how this will turn out. It might turn out really bad. We're gonna dip into Grape, which is a nice kind of reddened purple, I would say. We're gonna kind of pack that on. I am getting quite a bit of fallout, but I didn't tap it off before I put it on. I am really impressed with this formula. I didn't know what to think because I've never tried this before. I'm liking it. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit worried just because I've never tried this brand before, but this color story really got me. Last but not least, actually it's not the last, I don't know what I'm saying. We're dipping into Blackberry, which is this very deep purple shade. Ah, no! It is so scary when you drop a palette because you don't know what's gonna happen. It is a little bit harder to hold bigger palettes with their mirrors, so be careful, don't drop your palette. I'm gonna tap that off just because I am getting, you know, I'm getting fallout, but I mean, look at the colors I'm using. Like, I feel like it's, normally when you do looks like this, you want to do your foundation last. So that's what I should have done, but it's not what I did. I'm gonna take that dark blackberry color on a pencil brush. I did see today on her Instagram she was doing little tips, and she did say the best way to apply her shimmers are with a glitter glue, but since this is a review and since normally I don't use glitter glue for shimmers, I'm going to test it out how I would normally, just because that's just how I would normally do it, and I appreciate getting tips like that, especially for someone who might not know the best way. We're going to go into Starlight, which is this beautiful shade here. I feel like they're gonna be more toppery, so I am going to use a wet brush though. And we'll see what happens. Not a lot is getting really picked up on my brush. Maybe I'll try my finger. It does kind of, oh my gosh, look at that color. It does have like you know those toppers that are like really slick? So they're hard to pick up on a brush. It does have that, but look at that beautiful shine. Oh, it looks foiled and it's not even wet. So that is, you know, extremely impressive. That's an extremely impressive shimmer. I'll do the other eye and I'll be back. I cleaned up under my eyes and I actually added another color to under my brow bone and my inner corner, and I used the shade Vanilla. I was pleasantly surprised. I think it has almost a green shift to it. It's really, really cool. I thought it was literally just vanilla, but it's not. And oh, this pink called Pearl has almost a blue shift to it. This is pretty exciting. I think I'm actually going to take vanilla and use it as my highlighter today, because we'll see if I can get it to stick onto my brush, because these do seem to have a very slick formula. This works better with your fingers. They're almost very creamy. Actually, I don't just use my finger. It just works better with my finger. But do you see that? It is very, very pretty. Very pretty. It should have been called Not Your Average Vanilla or something, because it's not. Wow. I would 100% say do your foundation after. That was definitely my fault. I had so much to clean up. I was a mess. But I had way less fallout on this eye, and I don't know if it's because I just knew how to work with the formula the second time around. I feel like that happens a lot actually. I really love how it turned out, and I can't wait to use this palette more. Honestly, if you've ever, I don't know, I recommend it. I think it's a lot easier to use than a lot of the newer type of formulas. The formulas like the Raw Crusty Beauty times Per, I really like that formula, but I also think it can be a little bit finicky when you're piling on other colors, and I didn't have that problem. And that was just really nice. Also, the Norvina palette, I have the same type of problem because they're pressed pigments. So they're a little bit more slippery, I guess is the best way I can describe it. So it's a little bit hard to build other colors on top of each other. And I feel like this just didn't really have that problem at all. So I really, really liked that. The shimmers were intense and out of this world. I'd highly recommend, like she says, using a glitter glue or using your finger. It was very hard to pick up with a brush, which normally bothers me, but as soon as I like pressed it on my eyelid, it was so intense and so beautiful that there's just no, I'll use my finger all day long for those shades because they're so pretty. I think right now they are out of stock, but I'm sure they plan on restocking it. I can't wait to use this more. I really like it, and I hope the rest of the formulas work as good as they did for me today, and we'll see, right, in the 3 Looks in 1 palette. So stay tuned for that. Let me know what other shades you want me to use next. I know for sure I'm gonna go into the greens, like, and the nudes. We're gonna have to do a neutral look, of course, but definitely gonna have to use the greens because they're gorgeous. I know it's not fall yet, but I'm definitely like in the mindset of wanting to play with fall colors on the eyes. So maybe that's what's gonna happen. I'm just, this color story makes me very happy. Let me know what your thoughts are on this palette. Do you plan on picking it up? And thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a great day. Bye. Huh? No. What?